He's the most disliked driver in the Cup Series garage right now. Almost every team wants him gentler on the track. But a NASCAR legend just went on record and said the exact opposite. And his warning might be the smartest thing anyone has said about Carson Hocevar all season. Carson Hocevar is a problem for a lot of drivers in the garage, and he knows it. The Spire Motorsports driver has built a reputation for aggressive, no apologies racing, and it's earned him a nickname that says it all. Hurricane Hocevar. Plenty of veterans want him reined in before he burns every bridge he has left. But longtime racer Ken Schrader just pushed back hard on that idea during a recent appearance on the Schrader and Herm podcast. His message was blunt: don't touch what makes this kid fast. To understand why this take matters, you have to understand where Hocevar stands right now. He's 23 years old, he's polarizing, and he's already burned through a good chunk of goodwill in a garage that runs on unwritten rules and mutual respect. That respect matters more than casual fans realize. At drafting tracks especially, races are often decided by who's willing to work together in the closing laps. A driver with no allies can find himself boxed out when it counts most. Hocevar hasn't seemed to care. Last year at Atlanta, a pack of frustrated drivers confronted him after the race over how he'd driven. His response wasn't an apology, it was a shrug and a reminder that he'd finished second. He made it clear he wasn't in the garage to make friends, he was there to win. That single moment tells you everything about who Hocevar is. He's not chasing likability, he's chasing checkered flags. Popularity be damned. Here's where it gets interesting, because Schrader isn't just defending Hocevar out of nostalgia. He's making a real argument about how talent works. His logic is simple: rein in an aggressive young driver, and sometimes he calms down and matures into a smarter racer. But more often, you strip away the exact instinct that made him dangerous on the track in the first place. That edge, the willingness to take a risk everyone else won't, isn't something you can coach in halfway. Either a driver has it or he doesn't. And if NASCAR sands it down, they don't get a safer version of Hocevar, they get a slower one. This is where it gets risky for NASCAR and for Spire Motorsports. Modern stock car racing has become a league of caution. Drivers are trained to manage their brand, their sponsors, and their public image as carefully as they manage a race car. Say the wrong thing, make the wrong enemy, and it's not just other drivers who notice. It's sponsors, it's PR teams, it's the entire ecosystem that depends on likability. Hocevar is doing the opposite of all of that. He's raw, he's blunt, and he refuses to soften his edges for anyone. That's either the making of a genuine star or the fastest way to get frozen out by the very garage he needs to survive in. The real question isn't whether Hocevar is talented. It's whether NASCAR's current culture has room for a driver who plays entirely by his own rules. Because if it doesn't, this could turn into a slow-motion isolation story. One bad restart, one blown block at a time. This story is splitting people right down the middle. One side sees a young driver getting unfairly ganged up on by an old guard that's uncomfortable with anyone who doesn't play the politics of the garage. To them, Hocevar is refreshing, a throwback to a rawer, more honest era of the sport, and Schrader's comments validate exactly what they've been saying. The other side sees a driver who's burning every relationship he has and mistaking recklessness for talent. To them, Schrader is romanticizing a habit that's going to get someone hurt or get Hocevar boxed out of opportunities down the line. Somewhere in between are the analysts, watching closely to see if this becomes a career-defining trait or a career-limiting one. So where does this go from here? Two scenarios. Best case, Hocevar keeps racing exactly how he's racing, keeps finishing inside the top 5, and the results eventually force the garage to respect him whether they like him or not. History has plenty of examples of aggressive young drivers who earned grudging admiration once the wins piled up. Worst case, the isolation gets worse. Drivers stop giving him room in traffic, stop working with him at drafting tracks, and what should be a talent advantage turns into a liability every single race weekend. In that version, Schrader's warning becomes a cautionary tale instead of a prediction that aged well. So here's the real question. Should NASCAR let Carson Hocevar keep running wild, or is Ken Schrader wrong? And is this the exact kind of attitude that gets a young driver frozen out of the garage for good? Drop your take in the comments. Are you Team Hocevar, or are you siding with the veterans who want him to change? And if you want more no-filter breakdowns like this one, make sure you subscribe to SportsWire USA, because this Hocevar story is far from over.